Derrick J., I saw some videos that you posted today of an incident that occurred to you, and apparently there was the videography of a child at issue in this. So can you sort of relay it as best you can?
Yeah, that's right. And the story begins with me at a courthouse where a man has just been arraigned for the charge of second-degree assault. And as he's leaving...
What's first-degree assault?
Unclear.
Okay.
I just think it's really bad assault. I don't know.
Second degree probably means unplanned. First degree means premeditated.
Okay. Well, he was facing that charge at arraignment, and a hearing was scheduled for next week where he'll be facing that charge. And as he was leaving, I decided to get some video of this man leaving the courthouse, and one of his conditions were that he not speak with a local business owner about the trial. So I thought, wow, what a great opportunity. He's walking right towards that business. I'm going to go see if he goes and talks to that business owner. So I stayed about probably 30 to 50 feet away. I was across the street filming with my video camera on a tripod.
Were you taking the video in the courtroom too?
Yes.
Okay,
so I was taking video in the courtroom, and then I left the court before this man and was prepared. Once he left, he had to leave through the exit doors, and I had my video camera there to get his picture.
So let me ask you this. I saw that video, too, of his arraignment, and as he's walking out with his small entourage, they were clearly not happy with being videoing, period, inside the courtroom. Like one of them sort of waves a hat at you, and then the gal flips you off. Was this in any way sort of a little bit of badgering on your part?
Do you believe that I was badgering the...
Well, badgering not in a legal sense, but like, hey, you flipped me off, I guess I'll just going to follow you with a camera. You don't like cameras, huh?
The issue for me is I film everything in my day, and,
you do.
And people can verify that for themselves. I have a website, derrickj.me, and every day I upload all of my footage to the internet so people can see what's been going on in my life. And what happens is if you do something interesting in front of me, I'm going to video record that. So when people flip me off or make threats or say they're going to shove my camera in uncomfortable places in my body, then I'm going to continue to film you, at least where it's legal to do so, which are public places. So I stayed out on the sidewalk, recorded this gang, and I was across the street from them when they decided to advance towards me. They swiped at my camera, and some threats were made.
Sure. I do want to hear this. So tell me again what went on today.
Well, earlier today I was recording a group of individuals in Keene, New Hampshire, and I was across the street from the courthouse. They were out front of a local restaurant called Pedraza's, where a few of them might work. I'm not entirely sure about that. And as I was walking away, I was headed back home when one of the men who was on trial earlier, or who was arraigned earlier, came up to me.
This is the alleged assaulter?
Yes, the alleged assaulter who injured a man, hospitalized him, came over to me to say, hey, would you mind not filming me? And I said, well, I think it's important to film you because you're violent, and I am afraid to be around you. So if you're going to be around me...
Your news.
Yep, yeah. So if you're going to be around me, I'm going to be filming you. And he said, well, it's illegal to film minors, and you were just filming that child over there. The police are on their way.
Right.
I said, you called the police on me? Well, no, it doesn't matter who called the police, he says.
Yeah, he said he didn't call the police, but I would never do such a thing.
Right. However, I did record him on his phone just minutes before that. So
I love how these people now think that they're legal geniuses. Wrong again!
Whoops, I called the police. So he calls the police, and as he's walking over and the police are on their way.
We don't know who he called, but...
By the way, I believe it actually is illegal to misuse police resources.
Anyway...
there's a lot of police that need arresting then.
Yeah.
He thought that I was committing some sort of crime by filming the youngster, which it was incidental. I wasn't trying to film any youngster. That's not what I was after.
You're filming him.
Yeah, I was filming him.
One would assume his female partner who happens to have a baby on her hip.
Right. And so then a car stops in the middle of the road, and a gang of like 3 or 4 other people emerge behind the car while the driver is making threats to me. And I try and get closer to hear his threats on camera. And the alleged assaulter, got in between me and the vehicle, so I wasn't able to
de-escalate the situation.
Right, so I wasn't able to hear what sort of threats were being made. And then the driver parks his car, gets out of the car, and comes towards me while this throng is surrounding me.
You were surrounded.
Yeah, and so I'm trying to film everything that's happening around me. Meanwhile, this man gets so uncomfortably close. That's what I'm saying when he knocks the camera off of my tripod, out of my hands and onto the ground, breaking pieces of it. Well, then there's a little more. There's another assault that happened quickly thereafter. I pull out my video camera on my cell phone, start live streaming.
I want to hear about it in just 1 second. You can give us a call, 855-450-3733. What do you think about, I don't know, kids ending up in video in public? Is this immoral? Is this bad? Is this wrong? Do we have it all wrong? 855-450-3733. Free Talk Live. Now, Derrick J., you had an incident today that we were talking about just briefly about, some guy who had assaulted an activist that was doing some chalking here, was up in a court case. You had sort of filmed him to see whether, it looked like he was going to do something the judge had ordered him not to do, like moments after he had ordered him not to do it. And you just, you're a newsman, and you're going to get some news, and the guy didn't like it. He said, you can't film me and my baby, or whatever. And so he used the child as kind of a way not to get filmed here. And then an assault occurred. So can you tell us real quick what happened in the first assault?
Yes. So during the first assault, this man came over to me.
Now, this is one of the entourage that was following this guy, sort of showed up.
Yes, well, this man pulled up out of nowhere in the middle of the road and stopped his car in the street to make some verbal threats at me. Something about if I film his grandson, I'm going to have a problem, but I couldn't really make out what he was saying. And then the assaultive man who was just in court said, and that could happen. And I'm like, well, what could happen? I didn't quite hear this guy, so I tried to get a little closer. That I was blocked from doing so, and then I was completely surrounded within just a couple of seconds by this throng of people.
Yeah, it was, I don't know, I don't want to exaggerate, 6. I mean, that feels like a surrounding situation.
Yeah, there were 6 people, and one of them had...
the kid, cute as a button.
Yeah, the kid was so cute, and it's a shame that the person who I presume to be his mother was so angry and violent.
She was
with
so
her
upset
words.
And so sort of out of her normal space that instead of sort of cussing at you, she cussed about her kid. Don't film my effing kid. It was just a sort of like, who would say that about their own
Didn't seem
kid?
very motherly.
It's funny that she did the stereotypical camera thing, too, that she ran. Don't film my kid. Let me bring my kid towards your camera. I'm closer and closer and closer so that you're only filming my kid, nothing else.
Yeah.
Why do they do that?
I don't know, because I asked her right after she yelled at me for filming her kid. I said, "Miss, who brought the kid on camera?" And, the answer is her. I was walking away.
Right.
The kid was not on camera until she walked into it.
The idea in their minds is sort of the kid's a talisman, like garlic or a cross or whatever. And you somehow have to react to this.
I think what it is that they're trying to, like, oh, I bet we can get him. We can get him by bringing the kid out, and then they won't be able to film us. And we'll use our children in such a way as to prevent the filming, and that's just despicable.
Like, what was going to happen if
really
you had
gross.
turned off this camera? Because
I don't know.
You got 2 assaults on this.
Right. So I don't know what would have happened, because while I was speaking with this young woman and trying to hear and video what was going on around me, the man from the car had apparently parked, gotten out, and walked towards me. I didn't see him before he got just inches from my face, and
because he also didn't want to be on camera, right?
Right, and I turned the video camera around and in that to film him, and in that moment he knocked it off of the tripod and onto the ground. And once it was on the ground, a man named Justin Paquette, who I've blogged about on freekeen.com in the past, he stepped on the camera so that I couldn't retrieve it. I was planning to pick it back up and keep recording because now I've been assaulted. I need that camera for my protection. But he was keeping me from it, so I did the smart thing and pulled out my phone, pushed the Bambuser button, and immediately I was recording and live streaming to the internet.
How long do you think it was between recordings? Because I saw both of these videos, and it didn't seem like there was long between them.
5 seconds.
Wow!
I would say it was about 5 seconds before I was recording
You are a
and live streaming.
gunslinger. That is awesome.
I've practiced, and yeah, that's right. I have my Bambuser app right on the front screen on my phone, and I've practiced pulling it out to see how quickly can I be live streaming to the internet in an emergency situation. You could tell that the young lady who had the child was pretty upset by this, because she, at the very beginning of the live streamed video, says, "Really? Like, I thought I had just destroyed your technology, but the technology lives." She gets so upset because she can't imagine a world where a person could have a second video camera. I mean, could you imagine?
And this is incredibly valuable, because the one video sort of doesn't show, it doesn't give a full picture, like just sort of bump, like the camera goes off.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have that second one and you're sort of able to dialogue about what occurred moments ago,
Mm-hmm.
and then get another video of what then occurs after that, the second assault, and I want to hear about that in a second. You're able to sort of tie it together, because the one video is useless in and of itself. The second video isn't that useful either, but when they're stuck together, it's really a lot of evidence of what happened. And frankly, I think I think cameras are valuable even beyond filming government bureaucrats, but filming individuals, because the whole demeanor here changes. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, the demeanor changes when people are on video. I believe that people should be on their best behavior when they're being recorded.
One would hope.
But others seem to sink into their worst behavior, like these individuals. Well, I never felt more endangered as when both cameras were disarmed. That happened when I pulled out this live streaming app and began doing a selfie-style recording, saying, "Here I am. This man just knocked the camera off of the tripod. This man was keeping the camera from me." And as I'm recording the second man, he says, "Get that effing camera out of my effing face."
Yeah.
And he grabs at it, swipes at it a couple times, and then is able to dislodge it from my hand. And he hands the phone over to James Michael Phillips, the man who's just been arraigned.
The original assaulter.
The original assaulter, who just moments ago was in court for an arraignment for assault. Now, implicating him in the crime of James Michael Phillips then tossing the phone to me, in a way that a bully would do, like, "Oh, here's your phone back," but he's really tossing it at my feet on the sidewalk while it splits open into pieces. That's what happened. So, now my camera and my cell phone are both on the ground in pieces, and here comes the Keene police, who are arriving because this gang called them. So I'm saying, okay, they'll tell them their story. They immediately rush to the police and complain, "He's been filming us. He was filming a minor. He was filming a child." And the officer, who knows me, says, "Hi, Derrick. Yeah, unfortunately, he's allowed to record you. You're in public.
Right.
He's allowed to record your child, too. Yeah, I get it. You don't want stalkers. You don't want crazy people following you and drooling while they're recording your child, but that's not what's happening here. This guy is across the street. You advance towards him. He's got every right to record you." And then he came over and got my side of the story, and I think it's pretty clear from the video exactly what transpired. I got a couple of shots of the police arriving, the police there, and the local business owner, who James Michael Phillips was not allowed to talk to, is in one of those pictures. So hopefully all of those will surface. They're on freekeene.com if people want the full article, or at derrickj.me.
And this citizen journalism is, I think it's immensely valuable for society, a civilized society, because the cops can't be everywhere. The big-time journalists can't be everywhere. And you got to be able to shine a light on bad behavior if you want it to stop. I don't want bad things to happen to these people. I want them to apologize, to cease the bad behavior, and start acting like grown-ups.
I think Free Keene should come up with and annually award the award for the most classy behavior.
Like a satirical?
Yes.
Sarcastic? There you go. 855-450-3733. Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.